Rosa, make up an intro later. This is the intro for the taco blog. Thunder Rosa eating tacos.
All right, guys, this is Thunder Rosa. Welcome back to the taco vlog. This is season, summer season. My second guest, and I've been asking her to do me the honor to be here.
Stop.
Yes,
Stop. It's my honor.
Jacob.
I watched the taco vlog.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, of course I have.
Who's been your favorite so far?
I liked your conversation with Julia.
Wasn't that one
Because she's
great?
so reserved, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's just so young, right?
Yes.
And it was just nice. It was nice. She never does those kinds of things.
No, she doesn't, and
Yeah.
she was very open about it. And
Yeah.
I think this is it was probably one of the best interviews I've done
Yeah.
because she was so cool and
She's sweet.
yes.
And I love when she was like, because I'm from Minnesota as well, right? She's a
Yeah.
Minnesota girl, so
Keep
am I.
talking, Rob. I'm just gonna move this a
No
little bit.
problem. And when she was like, we had tacos growing up, but they're like white people tacos.
Oh, that
I've never resonated with something more in my life. I was like, wow, that was my taco experience until I moved to the Twin Cities.
So what before?
We love that
Okay, I'm
difference.
gonna start opening this tacos,
Yeah, yeah.
which I order Uber Eats because it's been. Rachael has, as you can see, she has a bone bruise.
We have a bone bruise.
Which we were just discussing.
yeah,
that right
yeah.
now,
I just was
right?
telling her, I'm like, right before we did this, I'm got the diagnosis today, and so I'm in there Googling, what exactly is this gonna.
Have you done this?
I mean, here, let's just try.
No, you can't. This is like the ones that.
Oh, no, that's not gonna happen.
Hold on. Is there anything sharp? No, I know that Mexican people do. Shouldn't it be like?
I was gonna suggest the metal crutch.
Maybe I can go to the
Actual hotel bar.
hotel bar.
Good.
Yeah.
Can we just pause this and resume?
This is how we do it. This is always random shit. Hold on,
Yeah,
give me a second.
yeah.
All right, we're back.
We took a commercial break.
Commercial break. I got this open by a very kind lady. Have you had Jarritos?
I have.
I knew you were gonna have it, so I got
Yeah?
to limit because I know that you couldn't drink the squirt earlier.
Oh my gosh, you guys, in catering today.
my
Thunder
God.
got to see. I'm like, they have squirt. I haven't had a squirt since
I don't
I was
remember.
like 12.
I honestly don't.
I
remember.
got really excited about it, but then I realized you can't really crutch around with an open
No.
canister.
You cannot know.
And so I tried to chug a few sips, and then she was very sweet, and she cleared my plate.
I
and everything
did.
for me.
I did clear your plate. So
It was very nice.
I ordered because I know you like tacos.
I love.
We
I
have
love that there's even wraps from the side.
so there's spicy pork,
Okay,
chicken, asada.
this is incredible, you guys.
We both are gonna have asada, and this one is fish. We can share half,
Okay,
and then I don't know if you like the lengua or tongue tacos.
I've never had.
Then you can have
Tonight's
some
the
of
night
this.
here in
Yes.
Seattle.
And they're very Mexican style. They have the lemon. They smell so good, and you can smell them.
Yeah, and I'm hungry, so I'm excited about this. Oh,
All right, so let's go back to the conversation about the
Okay.
white people's tacos. So tell me about it.
okay. So if you guys saw the one episode with Julia, she kind of explained it, but it is just so not authentic. They're like the white flour shells, right, that you just get at the grocery store. And then it's like, my family would just brown up some beef and put in the packet taco seasoning on it, right? And then a lot of sour cream,
Oh my god! Yes, that's
a lot of sour cream, and then pace picante salsa.
face.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
So super authentic. Not even cilantro on them or anything.
Oh wow!
Yeah. And so then, of course, I moved to Minneapolis, St. Paul to go to college. And
Yeah.
then you just are like, oh, there's a lot of incredible food there.
Yes,
Once you have authentic Mexican food,
we're gonna go back.
it's like a game changer,
No.
right? You can't go back. You can't have those white people tacos, as I call
So
them.
what was your favorite white people taco? Ground beef.
Ground beef, sour cream, paste picante, because that's what was in the fridge. But then I'm a big Tabasco girl, so I would just.
Sorry.
I know.
Sorry, I'm rolling my eyes.
No,
Oh,
it's
dude, That's like
understandable.
the whitest thing ever.
I know. I'm a white girl from Minnesota. I know. You can definitely make fun of me for it.
Talking about being the white girl from Minnesota.
Yeah.
We all know, and if you don't know Rachel, you're living under fucking.
Oh my god.
rock.
If you don't,
You're a second or third
Welcome.
generation.
second.
Second.
Mm-hmm.
So how difficult it is to make your own name being a second generation wrestler?
It's so hard. I was just saying this to Luther earlier
want
today.
salsa?
I would love some. Yeah.
So there's this red salsa and
Mhm. It's kind of funky little smell. Not even like a spicy smell. Like a.
it's not bad.
It's not bad.
It's oily, but
Okay.
this is just a regular green sauce.
Oh, that smells awesome. Okay, that smells really good.
So you were saying?
So I was just saying this to Luther earlier today because he's like, it must be easy when your real name and your work name are the same.
Yeah.
And it really is, right? You just answer to one thing, like Rachael Ellering is
So
who I
this
am.
is your real name.
my real name.
Okay.
Yep. But I told him I thought about like, oh, I should have a fake name because I've been so determined since I started to like have a separate identity from my dad and like earn everything and know that like
Yes.
whatever success I get in
Yes.
wrestling, it's because of me.
Yes.
And so I thought about, oh, maybe I just have like a fake last name or something, which I ended up having my year and a half in WWE. I tried without salsa first. But you just kind of get used to it, right? But
What was your
it's-
name in WWE?
Rachel Evers. So Evers was Lance Storm's, or is Lance Storm's real last name.
Mhm.
So I was like, oh, I can keep the initials RE, but also like have a tribute to my trainer kind of thing. So
Oh, that's crazy. That's
yeah, this was real crazy. All right, good.
Are they?
That's good.
That's pork, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she knows about tacos.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the greasy. I was like, yeah. It's
I was like, yeah, that's probably gonna be a good one there.
Mhm.
So it's a challenge, and like even now, I'm like 8 years into my career, and I still every week will, have people say like, "Oh, you're a nepo baby," and
Oh, you are not a nepo baby.
it's really funny. It's like, oh man, if they really knew, my dad has had no hand in my career.
Nope.
We don't talk to each other about wrestling
Oh, really?
at all. Wow. At all. He hated that I wanted to become a wrestler. He hated it. Like really, really fought me on it. I was like 16 when I was like, hey, I want to be a wrestler. And he was like, absolutely not. Like, go to college, get your degree, right? Worry about that. And I did. I have a bachelor's degree. Like I did that, but then I immediately went to train. And you know what? It's okay that it worked out that way because I've really got to do everything on my own and like experience everything for the first time on my own. And that's like good or bad, right? Like good stuff that happens or bad stuff that happens. It's like, well, you just figure it out. And you find like, I'm sure you have this, find people at different points in your career who like,
Yeah.
you become so close with and you learn from them
Yes.
and that kind of guides you in different directions.
So,
And
who is that person?
so right now, it's like almost cheesy because we're engaged. But Chris, I don't ever obviously call him Chris Hero. That would be really weird. Can you imagine? I'm just in the kitchen like, excuse me, Chris Hero, can you come in here? My hero. Oh my gosh. But we're constantly watching wrestling and I get to always pick his brain and he's like a literal wrestling genius. It's wild.
So before I ask you like all this, like how do you guys fell in love and all that shit? Let's talk about.
I like that green salsa.
I haven't tried the green salsa. The red one is actually it's not as funky as you think it is. It's actually really good.
Does it have heat to it?
Not really. It's
Ah.
not like
I need a little heat.
like a like chipotle, but it's not like super chipotle.
Okay.
Sorry guys, I'm like playing with the thing.
It's okay.
So who's Rachel? Who's Rachel?
Who's Rachel?
Yeah.
So Rachel's a sports nerd.
No, I was just gonna say.
Like Sporty Spice is me. I am her. I love working out. So that's always been like an interest of mine. I love my cats. So I'm a cat mom. My 3 babies. I said this to someone yesterday. I was at a Seattle Storm basketball game.
Oh yeah.
And like Sue Bird is a legend for them. I was like, oh, my first child is named after Sue Bird because our cat's name is Susan.
Oh my
And they
God.
were like, oh my gosh, tell me about your kids. And I'm like, well, she's 2. And then I'm like, oh my God, this woman thinks I have like real children, but I'm just talking about my cats. So, and all 3 are rescues. So I love that kind of stuff. And, what else? I'm a sister. So I have 2 siblings. I'm an aunt now. I became an aunt a couple months ago.
How was that?
I cried the first time I saw her, and I've never been a baby person, right? Like, I don't ever want kids, but just seeing my sister holding this beautiful little angel, I just started crying. I was like, wow, that is really just like life-changing, right? And so it's like in the process of my sister becoming a mom, we've become closer, and I'm her godmother, and it's just really nice. Yeah, and she, oh my gosh, she's going to be, at the end of the summer, she'll be a year, right? But she still has no hair, and she just has these bright blue eyes and this bald head. She's the sweetest. So, I mean, those are little bits of me, but like, I've always wanted to be a wrestler, right?
So if you weren't a wrestler, what would have you done?
That's like one of the hardest questions, isn't it? Because this is like, I really was like wrestling or bust, right? Like put all my eggs in this basket. Oh my God, it's all I wanted to do. And so I'm so glad it worked out.
Yeah.
But I started college as a physical therapy student, and I was like, oh, I'll work with athletes and, you know, maybe get to work with like a WNBA team at some point, right? And so probably something like that. Let me ask you, I know it's your job. What would you do if you weren't wrestling?
I probably would have been a therapist by now.
Yeah.
Family therapist, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you'd be really good at that.
Well, that's why I'm so good at it.
I feel like by the time, every now and then I'm just talking to you and I'm like, huh, I just vented you for like 20 minutes. I know, and then I'm like, I should let her go. Right? I should. It's like your entrance music hits like move along or Thunder Rosa.
I know.
Okay, so I need to try this one. Okay, I was like just gonna finish that one and not even move along.
That is the chicken.
Little more heat, which I like. That's good too. These are good for you. Just got
well, actually, I listen. Anytime I'm gonna order tacos, I'm gonna make sure it's like the best tacos.
Yeah, these are like
those
good.
are probably the best tacos in the area. Taco Jalisco or whatever, or no, Cinco de Mayo. Cinco de Mayo.
She chose a good place, guys. She knows her stuff. It's like she's done this before. You'd be a good therapist.
I think I would at this time now. When I was younger, I don't think so. I was too fiery, and I needed to go through therapy myself.
Yeah,
to understand.
It's life changing, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I 10 out of 10 recommend.
Yeah, if you have access to it, you should definitely do it. When did we met?
When did we meet? I was maybe like 2 years into wrestling. It's probably like 6 years ago. Because I had met you before we worked, right?
I will have to say yes. Because I remember when we booked you for Sabotage, we're like, it was that year where you were like super hot.
I was spoiled.
You were
like
everywhere.
Maybe spoiled's not the right word, but I was very lucky. Because like when I started training, it was like right when everyone was coining it, like the women's evolution. And you know what I mean? It's like, I got very lucky with the timing I came into wrestling because it was in demand, right? Indie shows wanted good girls matches. And, you know, I started at like the same time as, you know, a lot of the girls that we work with now. And so it was like, oh, good. I get to kind of break in with girls who want to be wrestlers.
Before you try that one, I want you to give it a bite to this one. This is a lengua taco.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to set my plate down. Grab that so I don't spill it all over myself.
Try it.
Okay. And you like this?
I love it. Yeah. Just give it a little taste so you're not.
It kind of just tastes like beef.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not, I don't think it's bad.
All right.
I mean, I see the texture on that one piece is like very much a,
like
like pure tongue. But I also like trying new stuff, so that's kind of fun.
Okay.
Because if I went to a place, I would never order that on my own.
Or like,
you know what I mean?
Brains or eyes. Yeah, they have that. Sesos or taco de ojo.
Did you, when you've been to Japan? Yeah, you went to Stardom. Did you try some weird stuff while you were over there? That's like the best part about traveling.
I remember I tried horse.
Yeah.
Raw horse.
Oh my God.
I couldn't stop thinking about the horse's face, and I couldn't eat it.
Stop. Oh my God.
The little like eyes, and I was like, I'm eating you.
Oh, and you still ate it though.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, I don't want to be disrespectful. Yeah, I thought that with a few things I tried over there. I was like, this is great. Okay, sugoi.
Stupid. Oh my God.
Oh man.
So yeah, you were like super hot at the time. And I remember you were everywhere.
I know, I was really lucky. Like, right when I trained in Canada, and like Lance's class was 3 months, and then excuse me, I stayed another 3 months just because I got booked on shows up there, and I could kind of like take his
why
class.
Lance?
Hello there, gorgeous.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
oh.
that was Nyla, by the way.
That was Nyla Rose. We love Nyla Rose.
Yeah, I would love Nyla. I'm always like trying to like secretly record her for my vlogs.
Holy shit, I
I know.
She's like, I'm long gone. I'm not a part of this. So I was up there 6 months total. So then I moved straight to Orlando. I got lucky because it's like, I just would get on shows every weekend. And, you know, it's like sometimes it's hard to really fill your calendar when you first start. And I got lucky because I filled mine, and it was great to get experience like that. And, you know, work with new girls. But then I got to work with a few experienced girls. And, you know, you just kind of figure it out as you go. But I think when we had our match, I was probably 2 years in.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah. And oh my gosh, you guys, it's like, I don't know why I remember this. She goes out first, right? And she does like a whole song
Oh my God.
and like a whole routine. And I remember standing behind the curtain and just thinking like, I'm such a loser. Like, I'm not going out there and doing this. I have one talent. Like, I'm not multi-talent. Like, we're not all multi-talented. And she's out there and I'm like, oh man, I could never do that.
All they did was when I concert
It was really good.
for the match.
And I was like, well, now I'm going to come out and people are going to be like, you are not it.
That was fun. It was in a bar.
Mm-hmm.
Come and take it in Austin.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 2016, maybe.
Oh, that sounds
Yeah.
good. Mhm.
Yeah. And I think you can find it online. I think it's somewhere on YouTube, but
Oh, it's probably bad on my behalf.
it wasn't.
Oh, I was a baby.
Girl, I was not that. I think I was like I had it, but it was like I was doing too much at the time.
Mm.
You always been very old school. Less is more.
Yeah.
Kind of person. I was not. I was
Yeah.
like, let me get on my shit in.
Every now and then, though, I wish I went through that phase where I'm like, let me just see how much stuff I can cram into this match.
I can't. Not anymore.
And now I'm like, oh, maybe it's good that that's not how I approach wrestling. But sometimes I'm like, man, some people really get over that way, right? They're just so like diverse and do 20 different cool things. And
I do like.
I could never. Yeah, that's me too. I'm like,
chops and drop kicks. That's all that I do.
oh, love it. Love it. I'm on the chop bandwagon.
So you're going to train with Lance.
Mhm.
Who else were you interested in training with?
So I was between him and Brian Kendrick's school in LA. Because, you know, you like sit there and you research, where should I go? And it wasn't really like an established school in Minnesota at the time. And so I thought, well, this is what I want to do. Like, let me commit to a place that has a really good reputation and go.
Yeah.
And then I saw that Lance had trained a bunch of girls who were really successful. And so I thought, well, let me give it a go, right? And I'm
So-
not afraid of Canadian winters because I'm from Minnesota.
So it was you, like Kaya, Valkyrie,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Chelsea,
Chelsea, Giselle Shaw, Emma, or Tennille.
Oh my
God, call
Emma too. Shit, yeah, Tennille.
Mm.
Emma.
Oh gosh, that's so good.
You like that?
I love it. Peyton Royce was another one. Yeah, so there were a lot of good girls that
She's
went.
Canadian too.
No, she's Australian. She went there from Australia. I know, wild, right? And like the 3 months you're there, you like paid. We love Nyla Rose. Like,
Nyla Rose and her pizza.
this is our second.
You gotta do a cameo here. I was chasing for
I mean,
you.
we've talked about you twice.
Yeah,
now.
we did. We told you we love you.
Would you do that?
We love
Because
you.
we love you.
I love you too.
And you're eating fucking.
I was craving pizza, you know.
I've been craving pizza for days.
I respect that.
But we're eating this like authentic Mexican taco.
They're really
that are
good.
greasy as fuck.
I'm more jealous of that.
These
No.
are good.
Because I've been feeling like shit. Caca, sorry. Lo Santo. I haven't been able to work out, so I'm like, you know what? Satisfy my craving. I finally feeling back to myself. When I get home, I can get back on it. So
Hey, do you, girl?
that's my battle plan.
Do you
you,
fly
girl?
home tomorrow?
Fly home 4 in the morning.
You're thriving.
So
Get home safely
I'm
and
not-
love
enjoy
you.
every bite of that.
enjoy all the
I am
cheese.
not gonna eat the whole thing.
Oh no, I'm in taco heaven.
I can't. Oh my! I can't.
Walk away, Nyla.
Bye.
Walk
Bye.
away.
That was Nyla Rose in the background, guys. As always, I love her too. She's my favorite. I love you.
It's a good person right there.
Yes.
I love her. So I kind of just chose Lance's because I'm like, well, let's train a bunch of girls. They've turned out well. Let me give it a go, right?
Yes.
And I also liked the concept of like not just training 1 day a week. With him, you train 5 days a week. Yeah. And then he would come in and do extra if I wanted. So it's like 6 days a week I got to like, yes. Which is why like after the 3-month course, I was on a show. And it's like, oh, I could have matches. Because it's like for almost every day of the week for 3 months.
What's your fondest memory from that time?
Oh, that's so hard. That was like my first time ever in a ring. Right? I had never taken a bump. It's like it's so weird.
Insane.
I know.
Your dad was
I know.
involved, and then you just like didn't do nothing.
No, like he wouldn't take us to shows. He wouldn't talk to us about like nothing. So I had never been in a ring, never taken a bump, never like hit the ropes. So it was like the same feeling that anyone has, right?
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh my gosh, it's so cheesy, but you're like, I'm realizing my dream. You know, you're like, I'm really doing it. Like, this is crazy. And I had a good group of guys that I was the only girl, right? But they all were like good dudes who I still keep in touch with a couple of them, and they're sweet guys. So that was helpful. But I probably like setting up the angle to having my first match. It sounds so funny saying like setting up the angle as if this is TV wrestling or something. So I would volunteer at like the local wrestling promotion, like setting up the ring, and you just are there to help out and try to figure things out. And so for a couple shows in a row, I was like ringside camera person.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lance had the idea to like, well, let's incorporate you doing that actually into like you having your first match. And so it's like, Giselle's beating somebody up, and then I set the camera down and I get in the ring and I save them naturally. And then it's like, oh, I went from camera girl to that's how I got to have my first match. So it was fun because like, a lot of people are like, I hate setting up the ring and I hate doing all this. And I'm like, I had a different experience where it was so fun for me, and it led to like my first match and like this cute little story up there in Calgary. So it was really fun. And then my second match was in Edmonton, where we were last week. So that was like such a treat for me to like wrestle in an arena in Edmonton when my second match up there was in front of like seven and a half people. And I got paid, I think, $10 Canadian,
which is like
$7. So it bought me like 2 Tim Hortons coffees. Could be worse, right? Living my dream.
Crazy.
But you know what? It's wild. I think back to like how incredibly happy I was doing that. Like, now 8 years in, you're like, oh man, I'm not working for $10 Canadian. No offense to any promoters out there, but
Never.
I'm gonna turn down the offer if it's for $10 Canadian. But I just remember like the pure like joy of just knowing like, wow, I'm really doing it, and you never really know where it's gonna go, right? You're like, this could take me forever to get to the goal, or I could just, you never know, right? And I was just like so purely happy just because I was able to wrestle.
That is fucking.
Sorry, that was like the longest answer.
No. But
You're like done with your tacos, and
I'm
over here.
always done. Hold on, give me a second.
Yeah.
The video. Okay. I'm always on every taco vlog. I'm like, because I listen to you guys, so I'm just like,
I know, and then I'm sitting here like, I need to eat this last taco.
You know who didn't eat her tacos? Julia didn't eat her tacos. The tacos were like this big.
Yeah, you guys had big tacos, and you
Yeah.
were like in the place when you.
Yeah,
filmed
I was
it.
in the place. But you know what? This is not a bad setup. I like it.
I like
because there's no music. There is nobody behind us.
There's like this little waterfall. It's really peaceful, you guys.
It's quiet. It's
really
just like
nice.
we were gonna do it in my room, but then I was like, there was no space. I was like, okay, I'm gonna find it. So
Yeah, it's a little.
This is
Mhm.
perfect.
Mhm.
So, okay, now this is a more of a now question.
Fun.
Now seeing the new talent that's coming in,
Mm.
some of them they never put everything together. And they
Oh my
never,
gosh, I know,
they
how weird.
never
Can
done-
you imagine that, by the way?
No, I can't.
Because I've met a few people who are like, "Oh, you've set up a ring before," and I'm like, "Why are you? What do you mean you've never?"
Okay, so how do you
It's
feel
so
about
weird?
like in terms of like how we were taught and how like people are being taught now?
I don't get like super bucky about stuff, right? Because sometimes I have to remind myself, like, they don't know what they don't know.
Yes.
So if someone isn't wrestling's hard, right? Like,
Yes.
it's really hard.
It is.
We take for granted how hard it is because people you see incredible stuff every single week, right? We work with like remarkably talented
Yes, we
people.
do.
So you almost forget, like, God, this is the most challenging thing.
Yes.
They make it look like it's cake, right? And so, not everybody kind of like has to grind to get to that point. But I do wish I wish there were better schools out there, because I feel like a lot of times now people are like, oh, so and so trained me, and I'm like, sorry, that's so mean of me. I'm not naming names, but I'm like, man, they weren't even really properly trained. And then to kind of pass down bad habits, or I'm really big on like, yeah, like learn how to be a team player, like set the ring up and be helpful if you can. And those little things kind of add up and make you appreciate stuff more, right? Because I'm so glad I had to go through a lot of that stuff, right? It like makes you, it's like part of who you are then when you get to this point. I'm sure you feel similarly, right? It's like, maybe in the moment it doesn't feel good to kind of eat shit every now and then, but then you get to this point and you're like, oh man, that's part of like why I am the way I am, which is super valuable. It's at times frustrating. And not that I want people to have to go through like extremely hard times, right, to like reach success, but like I wish they could at least see other perspectives and understand like, hey, not everybody had it so easy, right?
Yes.
Like even me, like I'm fully aware, like I came in at the exact right time. I was very lucky to be like booked on shows every weekend, and not everybody gets that right away. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it takes people 5, 6, 7 years to really like fill your calendar, and you know, I was so lucky. Like 2 years in, I'm out here like traveling to Texas to work, right? It's like that is not everybody's story and route. And so like, gosh, you have to be able to like step back and like self-reflect, right? Oh my God, that applies to so many things. Like, oh my gosh, step back and like read the room, brother. Come on. So what do you think of it though?
I think it is a very important part of being a professional wrestler. It's like when you're a carpenter. It's like learning how to utilize wood and the tools that you need to make what you need to make, right?
That's a great way to describe it.
So I feel that as a professional wrestler or like a painter, imagine if the painter doesn't know how to use a brush, right? Or like any utensils that you can create a paint. I think it is the same for the basis of professional wrestling. You need to you need to learn how to build the basis, the foundation of the work. Because it's one thing you know how to do, like put a match together and do everything else. The other thing is like to really know what it really means to put the ring together.
There's so much that goes into a show.
Absolutely.
So Chris likes to get to the venue super early, right? So I'm always, we get there early, like sometimes 2 hours before call time. Every now and then I'm like, this is a little ridiculous, but it's okay. When you love someone, you do it, right? And I will just go into the arena and go all the way up sometimes, or just high up, and just watch them set stuff up. It is wild. It's like those people work way harder than me. They're like the lighting rig people, and people building the stage, like all of it's built from scratch. Like this doesn't just appear, right? And I wish some people would like take a step back and realize, and like be nicer to those people. Like, oh my gosh, they work so hard for us, right? And they're not out there getting cheered.
No.
People don't even like know their names and stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh, those are like some of my favorite people in the company. I'm like,
oh yeah, they're fun.
God, they're so nice, right? And they're so funny. And it's like, God, they grind their asses off for us, right? So that we can go out there and have a show.
Especially when they have to do set up the same day.
Oh my gosh, like the other day in Vancouver.
Shit.
Yeah, the
set up the same
was
day,
there.
and then have to do tear down, guys. And they get there super early as they can, and then they're the last to leave, like 3 a.m. It's hard. It's hard work. I want to give a shout out to all the production peeps, my favorite peeps. I'm always talking to them. I'm always cracking them.
They're incredible.
They always tell me like, "Hey, you better entertain me."
Oh my gosh,
the pressure is on.
Yeah, exactly. The pressure's on. Yep.
So now that you mentioned Chris, I'm gonna move into the romantic life.
Oh my
gosh. Show. Did you guys met in NXT?
No, we met before that. So we I feel like it was a long time before people knew we were together. We're just private people. Like we still don't like constantly post pictures with each other.
No, they never do.
I know we're really quiet. There's like I'm sure there's a couple pictures, but like we're pretty quiet about it. Those were so good, by the way. I like have greasy hands. It's like.
I'm not lying. This thing was greasy.
Look at this. Look at that thing.
They were good. No, they were really good.
I wish I could say like 8 and left no crumbs, but there's like a few chunks on there. But
if I would have known you were gonna like them so much, I would have ordered another 6.
Oh my gosh, no, that was plenty. That was so good. Like so satisfying. Otherwise, I'd sit here just the whole time we're talking, like, oh my God, I'm on my 12th taco. Wow. So we met I moved from Calgary to Orlando. And it was like this whole thing where I was going to start with NXT, right? And so I moved down there. I get down there and they changed my start date. And I don't know a single person in Florida. So now I'm like 6 months into wrestling. Don't know shit yet.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I was like, who do I train with? Who do I, that was like my biggest thing was like, okay, I need to at least still be training. Like, you're not polished 6 months in. Like, I've never met anyone at least who's like polished 6 months in. If you're out there, congratulations. And so I reached out. My contact with WWE was William Regal.
Yeah.
And so I just asked him, hey, do you know anyone like that can train with me? That's actually like quality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, there's this guy named Chris, blah, blah, blah. Gets me in touch with him. And it was just really funny because I'm like, yeah, I know who Chris Hero is, right? Because I watch wrestling. And so I went the next day, met him. Great guy. I was like, oh my gosh, he was so nice. This is wonderful. And then we just would like hang out every day and watch wrestling and like random wrestling that I was not exposed to yet. Like, do you know what $5 wrestling is?
No.
Oh, I bet a good chunk of your audience does. It's like bad wrestling.
Oh my God.
Where like it's so entertaining. Like it's that.
Yeah.
And I had never watched that kind of stuff. And so I would just be like, oh my, it's a whole new world out there, right? Or like Cheeks from WCW. Yeah, Cheeks with an X. And I was like, never heard of Cheeks. And just these like funny things. And, then we're both basketball nerds and it was March Madness time. So I'm like, I filled out my bracket and we're watching games and I found out he was a Duke fan and I thought that was insanity. And so it just, just kind of developed. And that was almost 8 years ago. Yeah. It's really weird for me to even say that.
8 years?
Yeah. I know we've been together a really long time. Even though people don't really realize it. I mean, we've been engaged over a year and a half.
Okay.
Yeah. I probably should figure that out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What is it that attracted you the most besides your love for wrestling and basketball?
So that was like, it's always nice when you have stuff in common with someone.
Mm-hmm.
But like Chris's ability to like genuinely listen and care about people like blew me away. He's so thoughtful with his relationships and checking in with people. And like, he just has this genuine kindness to him.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I've never met someone who was so kind. And just like, I mean, I'm no one, right? And he was like, yeah, I'll help her. Like, no questions asked. And he's done that with so many people just in the time I've known him, right? And even before that, where he just like wants to help and share and be there for people. And like, he's just like a quality human. That sounds very basic, but like, he just has like the kindest heart. He does. Yeah. He's like the kindest person I've ever met in my whole life. He's so patient and just, what a guy. What a guy.
He's putting him over hard.
I am. Yeah. I really like him.
Well, you've been together with him for 8 years. You better fucking
Can you
like
imagine
him.
if I was like, he's fine. I don't know.
Whatever.
No, I'm obsessed with him. Like, he's incredible.
Who asked who?
He asked me. Why did I have to think about that? It was like,
I don't know.
that was a long time ago. Yeah. He asked me. But we were like already together for a while.
Uh-huh.
And then we just like weren't worried about like putting a title on it. And it was like almost like in a comical way where it's like, I mean, we're kind of together, but like, do we say it out loud? Like, is this an official thing? Yeah. So just in his very sweet way, he asked. Yeah.
He's like, you want to be my girlfriend?
Oh my God. Why do I?
So cute.
I'm like sweating now. I'm
She's
sweating.
She's blushed.
It was that was like a reenactment of it right there. Yeah. Yep. We're sitting on a couch eating tacos and he said, want to be my girlfriend?
And you're like,
I was like, oh my God, me? Little old me? What? That was exactly how it happened.
have you guys wrestled against each other?
Never. I think I'd be scared.
He'll kill you.
He's like 6'4", right? And so, it's
There's
just like
so
even
many-
the size difference, you're like,
But there's so
"Oh."
many couples, like, that's the thing that they do, they wrestle.
I know.
It's like they take
I
that.
can't even
down to
picture
town.
myself doing that.
I don't think he will. I don't think he will anyway.
I know. I don't think and I mean, both of us aren't like, other people can do it, go for it. I've had like one intergender match in my whole life. Oh my God. And it was a tag. And guess who my partner was?
Ooh.
Darby Allin.
How long ago was that?
This was like one of my first shows after I moved to Orlando. So I was like less than a year in. We were in like,
girl, you were like in wrestling. You were like Wrestle Circus, like golden child.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that was like way after this. Yeah, this was like, every now and then when I pass Darby, I'm like, hey, tag partner. It's the stupidest thing. It was like me and him, but we were like in a jujitsu dojo. So like you couldn't really stand up tall in the ring because the ceiling's and he was my tag partner. Yeah, I think that might be the only intergender thing I've ever done. I have like so many fond memories of Wrestle Circus. So many like really great fans. There's some I still talk to that I met at Wrestle Circus shows, and they were fantastic. Like really good crowds.
Excellent crowds.
Yeah, super fun environment.
But so you are with Chris.
Yep.
He's been your partner for 8 years.
Yep.
You both professional wrestling. You work in Impact or TNA?
Yeah, I was there for 1 year.
Okay.
So I was in NXT for like just under a year and a half under contract. I had no TV matches when I was under contract, so it's like I did so much extra work for them that people think I was like under contract the whole time. You know, it's still like a little sad when I reflect back on it, even though that was, I mean, I was part of like that first 100 people they let go at the start of the pandemic. And so that was like 4 years ago, Thunder.
Wow.
I know, but it still feels really new, right? I got hurt maybe 6 months into being there. I tore my ACL. Yep. And so half my time I was injured, and the other half you're just kind of training in a warehouse. And it was really hard to go from like working multiple shows a week to just like you're just doing front rolls for 6 hours.
Yeah, because you were
in a warehouse.
Because that was your like dream. Like everybody dreams to go to to New York or like to go to a big company, and when it's kind of taken away from you.
Yeah.
No.
It was.
Hello, Will.
Hi, Will.
How are you?
We're good.
Good. We're just eating tacos.
We're enjoying our tacos.
Yes.
On the taco vlog.
Yes. Come and say hi to
Yeah,
my
feel free to
vloggers.
join the taco vlog.
If you want me to do a taco vlog with Will, let me know.
Yeah.
Maybe and the next, because there's a lot of things that I would love to talk to Will about.
Oh.
And you can eat tacos in a city, in a random city. How about this? This is delicious.
And they're good. Like she doesn't get.
Oh,
basic.
I did the selfie, the Gen Z.
Oh, the Gen Z selfie.
I
Yes,
did.
you did.
I was
Oh,
gonna
great.
tag you.
Oh, that's awesome.
This was Will.
Hi, everybody. Enjoy the taco vlog. I'll be on at some point.
Yeah.
We can talk Gen Z selfies, and
You want to be on
I
that?
would love to do it. Yes.
Fuck yeah, I have another one.
Guys, everybody wants to be on the taco vlog.
Oh, absolutely do the taco vlog.
Yes, I'm excited about this one.
All right.
See you tomorrow, Will.
See, actually, I'm going home.
Already?
Really? You're not there tomorrow?
Portland?
What the hell, Will? We'll enjoy home then.
Tell the kids I say hi. That was Will. That was Will.
Well, everybody.
That was Will, guys.
Had a nice couple drop-ins here.
I know, this is good. This is good content.
Right?
What
What
we're
you even ask me?
talking about?
Oh, my time in NXT.
Yes, your time in NXT.
Yeah.
You get hurt.
Yep.
Is that the reason why when this happened, you were just like, no?
That's exactly why.
Okay, now it makes sense. Now it
Totally.
makes sense. Because you're like, right now you're doing ROH.
Yep.
You're about to have a banger of a match with Aminata and
Red Velvet. Yep.
And it was probably minute 3, and then
Yeah. And it's always like on the dumbest nothing stuff. I wish I could say like, guys, I was flying off the top rope through the announce
No, she was
table
not.
for ROH.
she does not
I
do that.
was not. It's just a fluke thing. But yes, that's exactly why I was like, I had like a panic attack because it was like PTSD from tearing my ACL. Oh my gosh. It like threw, I was like, oh, I can't go through that. I don't wish that on my worst enemy.
But
like,
you know the beautiful
Not
part.
even the owner of Wrestle Circus.
You know the beautiful part of your struggle that night is how I saw so many girls came back to the doctor's office.
Yeah. It made me cry.
And I saw like how
At one point there were like 12 of you in there, and I
legitimately-
like got really emotional about it.
legitimately
Yeah.
concerned. We all were for you, and I mean that says a lot about your personality. That says about a lot of your person. I spent a lot of time in the doctor's office.
Yeah,
and I haven't seen that. I
Mm.
haven't seen that at all.
Yeah, it was so nice. And just like the next day traveling home was so difficult. Like travel was just a mess. But I got messages from like every person in our locker room, right? And you know, even people like I'm not super close with, like some guys, and it was just really nice. Makes you feel good, right? You're like, oh, thanks guys for caring.
I know.
Because it's so easy. Like when I tore my ACL in NXT, it was like the total opposite of that. Like there's so much going on there, right? That you're just kind of suddenly kind of forgotten. And then that led to me like really closing myself off from everything. And so for recovery, it's like how you get in those bad mental spots when you're recovering, right?
Yeah.
And so it was so challenging. And then like I was cleared and good to go to come back, and then the pandemic hit, and then we all got fired.
Thank you guys. Thank
Right?
you, life. Thank you, life.
Yeah, appreciate it, life. Yeah, that was like, oh man, that knocked me right on my butt.
And then from there, you went to Impact. Or
Yeah, I had I was in like a women's tag tournament here. It was in
I
Jacksonville.
remember that.
Yep. Dasha was my tag partner. How random, right? Sometimes I'm like, how did that happen? And then the next day at tapings, I had a dark match with Penelope.
Okay.
And then probably just a couple weeks after that, I went to Impact, and I was there for 1 year. And then I came here. So that's kind of been the journey, an abbreviated version of it.
And how do you feel like if you were to go back to the person that was training 8 years ago,
Yeah.
like, is that exactly how you envisioned your career was going to go? Or
Under.
what?
I know. Like, I envisioned it going so differently.
Yeah.
So differently. Like, I thought I was going to start with NXT earlier because I had the start date. It got moved. And then I had kind of like reached a point where I'm like, it's okay. I don't, maybe what I'm doing is good. And it was like after the second Mae Young Classic, I was back in Japan again. And I was like, oh, this is great. Like, if this is all I do, like, I'm a happy camper, right? And then that's when I got the call, and I'm like, well, I'd regret it if I didn't go, right? And when I got to NXT, I thought, oh, I think I have a good chance of being successful here. I feel like I'm a good fit for their system, and it's like I already know how to wrestle. I love doing promo stuff, and then you just kind of fine tune things. And it went the total opposite. That I never would have predicted that's how my time there went. Like I said, I had no TV matches under contract. I had like 15 as an extra, right? And then I had none under contract. So it's like that alone was really weird. And then, gosh, I just couldn't even after that. Like, you just never know where the journey's then going to take you. And I like to think I've ended up exactly where I need to be, right? It's just taken me a while to get here. And I feel like, I bet you've had this moment too, where you're like almost rediscovering yourself like as you go, right? Because I felt like there have been like 5 different times in my career where I feel like I've just completely lost myself. And now I'm like, okay, I need to like find her again. And right. And like yes. And so I feel like right now I'm kind of in one of those phases again of like rediscovering who I am and just like trying to figure out where you fit, right?
Yes.
And trying to like make it, for lack of a better phrase. And I feel like I'm still trying to make it. Like, I feel like I've never really got the chance to like really do what I can do yet on like a grander stage.
Well, you're saying that you haven't done what you want to know that you can do. What is that for you right now?
So it's nice. Like, I got to do like a little program in ROH
Yes.
last year. And that was like the first, I feel like, storyline I've ever done in my whole career.
Wait, what?
Yes, I'm serious. Because I've just been like doing random stuff, like random matches. And I mean, it's like when I first got there, we did like a tag thing against Tasha Steelz and Kiera Hogan, who's here. But it was really short lived.
Yes.
Like 2 months. And then the rest of the time, it's like, oh, I was just kind of like accompanying Jordan to the ring, and she would accompany. And it was just like, just kind of you're there. You're just kind of floating, right? But this was like the first thing I've got to like sink my teeth into and like do promos and stuff. And Maria was involved, and so it was really fun to like use those creative juices, right? Like, it's fun to just have random matches too, sure. But like, you reach a certain point where you're like, oh, I really want to like work with some, like, give me some meat, right? Like, let's figure this thing out. So it was really fun to do that. And I like, that's the goal, right? To like be involved in a storyline, hopefully get to like use your voice a little bit and like teach people who you are through that, right? And then get to have like a series of matches with someone that like you really click with and that you get more than 4 minutes for, right? Because so many times you're like, oh, our time got cut, we have 3 minutes, and
You got 2.5.
yeah, right?
Run through the fucking thing.
Yeah. And so it's like, oh man, I'd love to just be able to like sink my teeth into like a real program with someone and have like really great matches and just really get, I mean, it's like the main thing is like really get the audience to like care about us. Yeah, like really get to know, like, I know who that person is and I care about that person, right? Because it's like, I'm not ever going to go out there and do like a move somebody's never seen before.
Yes.
But it's like, I would love the chance to get them to be like, man, I really care about her. I like her. I don't want to see her get her ass beat. You know what I mean?
They like to see me get my ass beat though.
I know. She's good at it. She's really good at it, guys.
They
Yep.
Like, they like to beat my ass.
Yeah, they like to be.
They like to pull my fucking extensions and
oh.
give me bruises all over myself. You know.
I'm glad I don't have extensions.
So
Oh, it's all my real hair.
no, this is not.
this is
After
not.
here, this is real. All everything else.
At least you're honest about it.
Yeah,
Some people are so weird about that. We're like, no, it's my real hair, and I'm like, baby,
even
it's
yell
not.
I even yell at it during matches.
Is that pulling on my extensions? They're expensive.
You know, I always
And you're
say
like,
that.
I genuinely mean that.
No,
though. Like,
bitches,
I'm not
like,
in
it
character.
hurts,
Like,
like,
don't.
No, don't.
Yeah, I get it.
Beauty costs.
Right? It does cost a lot. But that's like, I'm sure that's everybody's goal in wrestling, right? Is to like be afforded the time on TV to get people to care about you and
Yes.
invest in you and then like deliver on a nice show with a really great match kind of thing. So it's that simple. But it's like, oh, I hope I get to do that. If more, because I feel like last year I got to do a bit of that. So,
If you wouldn't be a wrestler, I know you love basketball. Would you love to be a basketball player?
Oh my God, I would.
Basketball?
like that was my dream until I fell in love with wrestling. Was to like grow up and play in the WNBA. Yeah, but like I'm only 5'7".
I mean, you could have still played.
I could, yeah. So I like played AAU, played year round. I was gonna play like I had college scholarship offers and stuff for basketball.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I'm like, oh, that definitely could have been a way, like a little
Yes.
road my life went down. But I'm so glad that like when I was growing up, my mom would take me to WNBA games, and nobody would go to these games. Right? This is like 2004.
Yeah.
And so it's like my mom and I and 40 other people in Target Center in Minneapolis, and it's like this empty arena. But I was so inspired by these women.
Yes.
Like, just so good at what they do, but like unapologetically themselves.
Yes.
And it like still to this day, it's like why I love the WNBA so much. Like I went to a game literally last night with my crutches.
I
and
was jelly.
I was like,
I saw the picture. All of you are like smiling,
Yes,
and I'm like,
yes.
what? Well, first, I never like to invite myself too. I didn't know you guys
you
were
guys
gonna
are
go.
so really bad.
I like she were there. I was like, oh, because I follow lately. I've been listening and reading a lot of articles about WNBA and the
Yeah.
economic impact, and also in sports, how much these women have changed the game.
Yes.
No pun intended.
Yes.
And it's pretty awesome
It's
to see it.
so freaking cool.
And it
isn't
was full. It was pretty full when you guys
Yes.
were there.
Yes, it was incredible. So I went to a Seattle Storm game last night, bought tickets weeks ago, right?
Mhm.
And not obviously knowing that I would be
Yeah.
hobbling around on crutches, but I was like, you know what? I'm going anyways. Like, I'm not missing this game. It's like the best 3 hours I've had in the last how long, right? Because just for 3 hours, I'm like, man, you get to watch these like women who are the best at what they do,
Yeah.
right? Which is so inspiring. They're athletic, they're strong, they're fierce. Like, I sound like I'm doing a commercial for the WNBA.
No. But you know,
But like genuinely, they've like Diana Taurasi's my all-time favorite player.
Yeah.
She was the first woman I saw on TV
Mhm.
that was like fiery and like talk shit and was just like 100% herself and owned that
Mhm.
and was so competitive. It was like ridiculous. And I like grew up in this small town where they were like, women shouldn't play sports. Like, Rachel, you're too competitive. Like, no. So seeing that on TV, I was like, I want to be her. And then when she was drafted into the WNBA, I started going to games, and
Mhm.
you just it's like remarkable to me to now, like 20 years later.
Do you have jerseys?
Oh my, yeah, I have a signed jersey by her.
Did you actually met her?
Yes, I have a picture. I think I posted it online before, but I can post it once this airs. Of me with her after she signed the jersey. I'm like 12.
Oh, just send it to me. We'll put it in here.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I'm like just young me, right? And I'm like, oh my god, I want to be this woman so bad.
And you know,
And now I still am like,
and you know what's interesting? Now that I see, like, that I hear you saying this, and I see you in the ring, and I see how you present yourself, that's you.
isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's who you are.
Yeah.
Unapologetically Rachel. And she's not gonna change. She's not gonna put this. She's not gonna dye her hair. She's not gonna like put fake boobs. This is you.
Yeah.
This is,
Yeah, well, now that you say that, that's
no, I mean, you know.
that is it. That is me. Yeah.
Yes.
And I don't know, you like learn that from watching these incredible women, right? You're like, wow.
Did you ever struggle? You know, because in this business is very like image like you have to look
Oh.
a certain way.
Yeah. I don't think I've gone through a phase where I've like really lost myself in that way. Because I've never dyed my hair. Like,
It's fucking crazy.
I know it is pretty, like my whole life. It's not, I know, ever. This is my natural born hair color.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's like I am very simple in presentation. But I've had moments where like I had a moment in NXT where I'm like, maybe I should just like kind of put me on the back burner and like maybe do something they want to see, and right. And so I've had those conversations with myself before, but I feel like I'm never able to like commit to
Pull the
doing that.
trigger?
Yeah, because it's like I don't want to.
It's hard.
And that's why I've never done it, because it's like deep down I'm like, no, I don't, that's not me. Like I don't want to do that, right?
Yeah.
And maybe I would have like, I don't know, found more success if I did do that or something.
I mean,
But I think like it's kind of like the last name thing, right? Where you're like, I'll know that like I've done it my way as myself, and like any success I have, it's like, wow, I've done it as me. Like I've never like, I don't know, I've never like faked it for people, right? So like it's like what you see, like that's me. It's genuinely just me.
what
Like
you see is what you get.
what you see is what you get, guys. Yeah, which is hopefully okay for some people.
No, that's a beautiful thing, Rachel. I think this is the first time I actually dig in on who you really are. Because I see you and you're like super nice, you know, and you're like, sometimes you're like, because they said that to me, that they think you're fake when you're being nice. But this is who you
Oh
are.
my gosh, people have told me that a million times. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had, oh my God, 100 people say that. Like, Mariah May just said that to me last week. She's like, okay, like I've been around you enough. Like, I guess this is who you are. And I was like, okay, it is.
No, it's because, you know, the face.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Oh my God, it's so nice to see you. And then you turn around, fucking bitch, I can't stand her.
Yeah. And I've like never understood that approach from people, because it's like, you know, some people view it as like, she has the spot I want, or I can't even say it without laughing, but it's like, okay, sure, we all want to be like in the featured spots and stuff, but at the end of the day, like, guess what? It's a guy in an office making a decision. Like, you're not actively trying to like take food off my table or something. Like, I
mean, some people are, but
some people are, but I'm like, I feel like for the most part, like, it's just better to have that sense of community in a locker room and like
yes,
take care of each other,
yes.
right? Because like if we're not taking care of each other, we've like lost the plot. Like, what are we even doing?
We really do, and
Yeah,
I think
I
that's
feel like we have a good group of girls. Like,
we do. I said this in working Saturdays and coming back from a very high level anxiety for myself. You know,
Yeah.
coming from that
Yeah.
injury and everything
Yeah.
that came with it. We had this conversation, right?
Yeah.
And I felt very comfortable, like in Saturdays when we were working with the first group of
Yeah.
people, right? And just like I started being me, and when I started being me again, I was like, all right, the ones that are gonna like me, they're gonna like me. The ones that are not gonna like me, they're not even gonna approach me.
yeah,
So you are one of those who like always been the same way towards me, even when I wasn't famous. You've always been super nice to me, and it's like, and even when you were like more successful, I mean, you never treated me different, which says a lot about you as a person, you know. So she's fucking cool. So.
Oh, damn, guys.
And I'm not saying this because we're on this thing. I mean, I said this to you before.
Yeah, no, you have. Yeah,
And
yeah, I appreciate that.
but it's you know, it's hard because there's very very few spots in spotlight, you know, on the main shows, and when we have someone who's like kind of like selfless and wants to make sure that whoever is dancing with that person is like willing to put them over,
Yeah, yeah.
you know. And
I always think like it'll always come back around too,
It really does.
right?
It really
It's like I started my career doing so much extra work, right? So you're like losing in 2 minutes, losing it, right? It's like these super short matches. You're just there to put somebody over, and it's like, you know, last year I had a couple of those here where I was the person winning in 2 minutes, which felt really weird, right? Like that's hard.
Oh,
Dude, oh my gosh, it's
2 minute matches are so
so
hard.
weird. But it's like, oh, it's just a cycle, right? Like you do the favor for someone, they'll do it for you later. Like if I take care of you now, you're gonna take care of me later. Like that's what we do. It's just what we do.
just to wrap up, because if you have,
Yeah.
I feel like I can have.
Oh
like,
my God, no! I'd sit
2 hour,
here,
2 hour
I'd sit here
interview.
for 4 hours. Like,
If you could say something to girls or guys that are, you know, feeling the same way that you felt in terms of like what they want to do in life
mhm.
and the things that they might need to sacrifice to be successful, what would you tell them?
I think it's so important, no matter what, to know who you are
Mm-hmm.
and know what is most important to you. Because at some point, like you're gonna have to pick and choose, right? You can't
Mhm.
have 10 favorite things and think you're gonna keep the 10 favorite things and be great at the 10 favorite things. So you just have like never lose sight of that. Like know what the mission is and know like what is sacrificable. I don't even know if that's a word. Like, okay, I can give this up for now, right? Or if you're not willing to give it up, then it's like stand in your truth then. Like stand in that and then don't back down, right? It's like I've been told a million times like, oh, maybe you like dye your hair or change like that kind of thing. But it's like know who the hell you are and like have your own back. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like have your own freaking back. Because there have been a million points in my career where like I haven't. And it's like my self-talk was terrible. And, right? It's like you kind of don't believe in yourself at points and you're just in rough places. But it's like you got to come out of that. And like if anybody's going to have you, like you got to have you. Right? And so like have that respect for yourself and know that like you're good enough to do it as yourself, whatever it is, you know? And like you don't got to step on people along the way.
Oh, that's
You really
important
don't.
one.
Like
Yeah, that is.
it's
100.
like so true though. It's like advice for anything, but it's like if you treat people well, like it'll come back to you in
absolutely.
some way. And then at least you know, like, you know what, when you lay down, like you'll feel good about like the journey you're on and knowing like I was true to myself in this journey. Because I feel that way about myself. Like I look back and it's like if I'm where I want to be or I'm not, I at least know like, you know what? Like I've never lost sight of who I am throughout this whole entire thing. I've got my back. There we go. That would be, I think, what I would say. I feel like that was kind of deep.
No, that was
You
great.
got this, girls.
I was like, well, with that, guys, this was Rachael Ellering, and I spelled her name wrong on my phone, and she deleted it.
I changed it though. We're good.
She
We're up to date.
did.
We're up to date.
Where
Yeah.
can they follow you on social media?
Okay. My Twitter is at Rachael Ellering, and my Instagram is at the Rachael Ellering because someone had taken Rachael Ellering already.
Bitches.
I know. So that's where you can find me.
You have
and
a
then-
website or anything?
No, I don't. And then ROH on Thursdays. That's
ROH
really
on
it. I'm pretty
Thursdays.
simple. It's pretty simple, guys.
And don't forget to like, subscribe, share this video if you like it. And if you don't, still comment
do it.
down below. Make sure that you continue to follow Thunder Rosa at all. It's at Thunder Rosa 22 and every social media. Thank you very much. These tacos were excellent.
They were good.
What number will you give them?
I give them
From 1 to 10. 10 being best and 1 being disgusting.
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. That's pretty good, right?
I was hungry.
Yeah, I was
And,
starving.
You know, and I don't drink soda, and I drink. This is my favorite, by the
Oh,
way.
she downed
Thank
that
you, yeah.
thing.
Señoría.
Oh my gosh,
it
I was
reminds
like-
me when I was little.
I didn't know how long I would chat, and I'm like, I don't want to have to get up and use the restroom, so I've just
Oh
been...
my God, I am probably gonna use the restroom a couple times. But yeah, don't forget this was Thunder Rosa Taco Blog. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for being my guest. It was a great
This was the best
interview.
of my
And
whole
if
life.
you want to suggest anybody, please make sure you put it in the comments. Like, subscribe, and subscribe for the notifications. And I don't know what else. Oh, and remember, not everybody is your best friend. See ya.